This video is going to show you how to complete every step in the Accordion Folding Door installation process, including trimming the door, installing all the hardware, and getting it actually mounted in your opening. If you watch this all the way through, it's the only video you'll need. With that said, let's get into the video. I'm installing a bathroom in my basement, which has a furnace right next to it. So I decided to use an accordion folding door, which was an easy way to allow for access and still cover up the furnace. To determine what size door you're going to need to order, go ahead and measure your rough opening, measure the height in a couple locations to make sure it's uniform, and also the width of your opening. In my case, I was about 70 inches by 34 inches. As a result, I ordered an 80-inch high by 36-inch wide door, which I'm going to trim down to my dimensions in the next step. To trim down your door, start at the top, which is going to have your mounting holes. What I did is I basically measured 70 inches, which is my opening, and then I determined the additional height that was introduced by the top rail and the bracket right there, which was about 1¼ inches. Therefore, after subtracting that, I got my dimension where I needed to cut, and I put painter's tape to hold all of the panels together, and then I simply marked where I was going to cut on that painter's tape line. Check out my blog article, which I'll link in the description, for more info on making your cut. Then I took some blocks and I used a hacksaw to go ahead and cut right through the accordion door panels, as you're seeing. After you cut all the way through, take off the painter's tape on the top end, and you're not going to need the bottom, so get rid of that. Next, take your top rail, and you're going to want to cut that 1/8 of an inch shorter than the top of your opening, again, using a hacksaw. Now, what I did here is I took a tape measure to establish a uniform line from the front. I think I measured 1.5 inches off of that front face, and I marked that in a few places across the top so that I had a nice line established for where I was going to attach that mounting rail. The mounting rail or top rail has these pre-drilled holes, and what you're going to do is take your hardware that was supplied, use one of these 3/4 inch screws, and then what you're going to do is you're going to find the pre-drilled hole closest to the center of your opening, and then just insert one screw, not fully tightening at this stage. Next, let's head over to our door and install these circular glide rings. These are going to fit around the perforated holes, and they're going to snap into place, putting one end on the top and then snapping into place, coming in on the other side. So as you can see, we're putting the one end on the top there and then bringing the other piece on the other side until it snaps into place. Be sure to keep these the same orientation, meaning the same side on the top and the same side on the bottom for all of these perforated holes. And then you're going to take your slide brackets and you're going to go ahead and snap those into place for each of the previously installed slide rings. So again, these snap into place. You're going to have to use your fingers, maybe a little bit of your nails to actually pry these open. It was kind of tough in a couple of them, but just snap all of those into place. The end panel of the door is going to receive this T-shaped glide, and you're going to take that, put it through the middle, and then insert a screw through the top there, and then head over on the other side, and you're going to anchor that into place. This is just a threaded connection, and use a screwdriver to tighten everything up and get that glide perfectly installed. Here is a quick look of me tightening, and then we'll show you what it looks like on the inside. So at this point, let's install the door handle. The hardware came with black and white accent colors. I went with white since it was a little more subtle. And then there's going to be these push pins that you're going to insert into one side of the door handle, push the handle through the perforations, and then take the other side of the handle and insert the push pins until it is fully secure. At this point, take your top rack, angle it out so you can take your glide brackets and glide rings and slide them into the top rack as you're seeing now. Do this for all the panels, and then kind of tilt it back into place. As I'm showing here, those kind of slide into place, they go into the top rack, and they rest once they've gone through in that direction. Then, go ahead and pivot the top rack back into place, put the top rack in line with the marks you established previously, and then finish anchoring through all of the pre-drilled perforations in the top rack. And here I just slid the panels to the other side so I could go through and get access to anchor the top rack on the opposite side of the rack. Now, just gave it just a quick test to make sure everything was looking good so far. Next, go to the non-opening side of your opening, and there's an anchor panel that is attached to the door. What you're going to do is you're going to secure that anchor panel to the wall with your 3/4 inch anchoring screws, and you're going to do this on the top, bottom, and middle, and do this on both sides of the door. I could only show one side here, but the other side was done as well. Finally, on the closing side of your door, there is a magnetic latch plate that you're going to install to keep the door closed when it's in the closed position. So use a piece of tape after establishing where that door is going to hit on that wall, and then you're going to secure that latch plate with the 3/4 inch anchoring screws that came with your kit. Give it a couple tests and you should hear a nice audible magnetic click when it's done properly. Nice. At this point, the Accordion Folding Door Installation is complete. Give your door a couple tests to make sure everything lines up perfectly, and if you haven't done so already, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you like DIY content like this. What I'm showing here is just the top guide rails, and the bottom there, what I'm showing here is that you have perfect access to that furnace in the future, which is nice. And here's a look on the bottom, just showing the clearance and how I got that pretty close there. If you want to see how I completed the rest of this bathroom and how I did some other doors, just all kinds of DIY content, again, subscribe to the channel. I'm in the process of finishing my basement, and there's going to be full tutorials on every single step in that project. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one.